Hi, I'm Father Anthony Hannon from Enviam Patches, and this is To Prepare His Way. This is a coming soon video. It's just a little bit of an outline of some of the topics that I'd like to make some videos on. I may not do them in this particular order, but this is in the hopes that you will subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you happen to be watching on enviampatches.org, I invite you to, in the bottom right hand corner of the video, if you could just click the YouTube and go to the YouTube platform to watch this video, and then click the subscribe button. It's a red subscribe button, and you don't have, it doesn't cost anything. All you have to do is leave your email address and then turn the notification bell on, and then every time I post a video you will get a notification so you can watch it. Okay. So again, not in any particular order. These are some of the topics that I want to make some videos on. First of all, epistemology. Epistemology is the philosophy of knowledge. How do we know what we know? And some of the comments that have been left on some on these just few videos that I've made so far have kind of prompted me to think I really need to do one on this. And it's not like epistemology has a really well defined, everyone agrees with how we know what knowledge is, what counts as true knowledge, these types of things. But some of the comments are, especially, and also will include like a philosophy of science, falsification. So that's Sir Karl Popper. Others, I had already mentioned justified true belief, I think, in one of my videos. And really, I want to take it a little bit somewhere else, just to show how many things we count as knowledge are maybe, not as proven as you might think. So that's epistemology, philosophy of science. Let's see, what else? Oh yes, okay. I want to also do some videos. I will be doing lots of videos, I'm sure, but I want to do an initial video on the dynamics of addictions. And there's all types of addictions. There's substance. People get addicted to substances, right? So it's physiological addictions, and then there's other things. Sometimes I don't want to use the word addiction. I think on the website I don't use the word addiction. I think I talk about self-defeating patterns of behavior or something like that. Nonetheless, I have a very simple way to explain addictions. I'd like to do that. And connected with that is codependency. So that is with those who are involved in some sort of relationship with someone who has an addiction, and how this kind of plays out, and how that was developed as well since the 1980s. I know it goes back further than that, but we've really come a long way in understanding the dynamics of addictions, dysfunctional families, all that type of thing. So I think I have something to offer there, and maybe you'd be interested in seeing some of that. There's a big one. I don't know if maybe I'll do this one earlier, I don't know, but it's so important. It's kind of the elephant in the room, so to speak. And I'm just calling this the terrible effects of scandal in politics and in the Catholic Church. I'm a Catholic priest. Seeing these terrible, or hearing of these terrible things. I haven't seen anything myself. I have no first-hand knowledge of any of these terrible abuses. I've never even had a priest come to confession to me. I think there's a saying, there's a movie, or is it a movie, or there's a saying, birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, so they don't seem to come to confession to me. If they're not even repentant, I don't know. I have really third-hand knowledge. I know only what you know for the most part, and but some of these things are really, really sickening. And they've damaged the church and damaged the priesthood so bad, and I want to discuss a bit about that, and how, as a priest, how these scandals affect me, but also on the larger scale, how these things have affected our whole society. So I'll get into the definition of scandal, and what political scandal is and what it's not, and things like that. So that's some. See, maybe some people are wondering what my take is on this, and I want to share some of that. Let's see. Oh yeah, I started out with, a very provocative video. Well, actually, my first video was confirmation bias, and I'll do a confirmation bias part 2. I think it's very important to do that. So that might be my next video. I'm not sure, but then I started off with a very provocative title called "To be an atheist is to be against science," and I realized from the comments that the reason I said that was because I had a particular definition of atheism, which is a definition of atheism. But I found out from the comments and a little bit more research that many people who call themselves atheists wouldn't see it exactly the way that I defined it. So this is where we all learn, and I learned a lot, and it's great. I love learning, and to see some of my blind spots, some of my confirmation bias exposed, and to kind of rise above it. It's awesome. This is great. So I want to do a video though on why I believe in God and why I became a Catholic priest, why I'm a Catholic priest. So I hope some of you are interested in that. Eventually I will probably get into commentaries on the daily mass readings or the Sunday mass readings. Out here in Vampachis, I don't have a parish, and so I'm kind of preaching to myself. So maybe I should just put a few reflections on YouTube, and maybe some of you who came to my last parish and appreciated my preaching, maybe you'd like to tune in like that. And right. And then, I'm out here in the Ontario wilderness, and it's awesome. Like, I don't know if you saw that other video. I was just walking through the woods, just kind of musing about, when the retreat center might be open, and whether I would accept dogs. I'm going to definitely make it available for people if they want to bring their pets, but they need to know the dangers. And there's other dangers in the woods as well. Like, some people, maybe they don't, maybe they won't want to come if I tell you everything that you can encounter out here. But many of the things you can avoid and will avoid. But for example, for those of you who are in the city, when you come out to the country, the first thing that's going to greet you is the deer flies. The deer flies are kind of like the paparazzi. They're the welcoming committee. They come and they welcome you. They're going to be all over your car, waiting for you to open the door and to say hello to you. And some people get kind of freaked out at that. But the deer flags, there's a rule. I'm going to say, I'm being funny, but there's a rule that the paparazzi are not allowed to touch you. They can get all around you and look at you all they want, but they're not allowed to touch you. And if they touch you, you touch them back. And the funny thing about deer flies is they're not very fast, and they don't like bite you right away or anything. They have to land on you and for a while before they bite you. And they land on you. You just touch them and they die. It's just they just go boom, they die. So deer flies. Of course, there's mosquitoes. I haven't encountered very many black flies out here, but there are ticks. And there's this huge, scare on. Everyone's talking about ticks and Lyme disease and everything like that. And I don't want to minimize Lyme disease. Don't get me wrong, but they're not the big boogeyman that you necessarily think. And there's ways of protecting yourself and everything like that. And but there's lots of ticks around here. There's lots of deer, and where there's deer, there's ticks. So there's ticks, and you might encounter some snakes, and like I tell some of my African priest friends, if you see a snake, you cannot kill it. There are no poisonous snakes here. Okay, there are no poison. They will not hurt you. And so see, because in Africa they'll see a snake, they want to kill it. You know, they're poisonous. They cause a lot of harm. No, out in this part of Ontario, there's no poisonous snakes. They're not going to harm you. Enjoy them. And some of them are protected as well, so you can't kill them. That's illegal to harm them. Okay. And what else? Oh, poison ivy. There's poison ivy here, so but again, it's not difficult to avoid. In September, I think it was a very hot day. I had some guests up one Sunday, and we went a walk. Oh no, that's a different day. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, one person like severely allergic to poison ivy had it before. We walked all through the woods, all through bush. She didn't get poison ivy. It's just what to look for, how to dress, and you'll be fine. But oh yes, the dogs, right? So if you bring a dog here, you need to be aware of some of the hazards. So you know, there's porcupines, and as I've already found out with my dog, you know, there's not a lot of traffic on this road, but it's still possible that a dog could get hit by a car. And you know, there's hazards, right? Okay. Anyway, all that being said, I've got some amazing wildlife videos that I'd like to kind of slowly kind of expose to the whole world through the YouTube channel. So you'll see deer and I've already mentioned deer, rabbits and raccoons and fishers. Some maybe none of you've heard of, maybe some of you've never heard of a fisher. And foxes and coyotes and all sorts of good, and porcupines. I have them on video as well. And yeah, another big surprise. Some of you who know me, I've shown the surprise, but I'm just going to keep all that a mystery right now. Certain animals. Moose. I've got some moose shots as well. And there's always more. I've got trail cameras all over the place, and so I'm always getting new wildlife shots. Okay, that's it. I hope you subscribe. I hope you turn on the notification bell. And until next time, in Patches.